Okay, hello everybody. So today's video is going to be about how to read tarot, and I don't just want to teach you guys the traditional stuff, I also want to teach you some of the more obscure stuff. So we will get into, of course, things like traditional symbols, the traditional meanings of the cards, reverse meanings, those sorts of things. But I also want to kind of encourage you to get a bit creative with it and also use your own interpretations, and I'll kind of explain how you do that as I go along. This video is particularly helpful for those of you who want to learn tarot specifically for YouTubing, because of the sort of alternative way that I'm going to encourage you to read tarot, and some extra tips that I'm going to kind of throw in there. But this video still applies for those of you who want to learn tarot just for like your own personal knowledge or to do it professionally as well. So one of the first things I would do is actually encourage you to have a notebook. So this is mine. It says Magic and Manifestations, and I do actually have like I suppose like a little chart or graph in here that I made when I was first sort of tarot reading. I have so many different interpretations that I've noted down, things I've learned along the way. I've also got like a chart in here which I will put up on screen for you to see. But basically, once you've learned all your definitions of the cards, you can try to sum up that card in one word and put it into your chart or your graph. And that's kind of what I did, and then I did that with the symbols and things as well. And I also used a lot of resources to find out this information, so that includes the booklets that I got in like my tarot decks, it includes online resources, it includes apps as well. A lot of this information is free out there online that you can get, and I've just compiled all of it into this book. And I'm going to relay all of that in this video as well. So let's get into it. So for today's video, I'm going to be using the Good Karma Tarot deck. First, I kind of want to talk about the difference between the major and minor arcana. So I've put these all into order. So these are the major arcana, and these are the minor arcana here. And the minor arcana is all of the suits. So it's all of the wands, the swords, coins, cups, that sort of thing. But the major arcana are these sort of individual cards that sort of have like an archetype or a journey or something. So we've got the Fool, the Magician, that type of thing. And the major arcana are big things that are going to happen to you or could happen to you, or they're big messages that you need to know. And it's usually something where this is a part of your divine path. It's non-negotiable, non-changeable. The universe is going to make this happen, whether, you know, you can intervene with it or not. Whereas when it comes to the minor arcana, these are day-to-day things that aren't that big, that can be changed and that you have power over. So let's say if one of the cards says that you're going to be feeling unfulfilled or bored, you have the power to change that based on your actions. Whereas with the major arcana, if it says you're going to go on a journey, you are going on that journey, non-negotiable. Or if, you know, it says that you're going to fall in love, you're falling in love. Like, you know, there's just no two ways about it. So that's kind of the separation that you need to know between the two. And there are 22 major arcana cards. And, oh, that one's in reverse. And now we're going to get into these. So I would urge you to interpret cards authentically. And I have 3 ways of doing this. So the way that you interpret cards authentically is personally, intuitively, and creatively. So with these 3 things, what I kind of mean with personally is take your personal interpretations that you've had. Let's say you had a reading where you got the Magician and the Fool, and you were specifically asking about a massive life change, and from this, along with some oracle cards that you got that had butterflies on, you kind of gathered that there would be a big transformation for you, especially in terms of what you're manifesting on your path. If now that has permanently altered the way you see these cards, and now you actually see these 2 cards as manifestation more so than anything else, go with that. If you have a personal story to tell about the High Priestess card, where it came up for you time and time and time again to the point that it has become the card that represents you, bring that up in a reading. You know, tell, especially if you're doing YouTube readings, tell your community that and allow them the chance to get to know you and to connect with you and find out more about who you are. So that's what I mean by personally. When I mean intuitively, I want you to pay attention to the sounds and the things going on around you. So say you're shuffling these cards and you've asked a question about what's going to happen next in your tarot receiver's life. And outside you can hear someone mowing the lawn and you can hear like kids screaming and laughing. With that, you can take the interpretation and start to add this to the cards, that there will be a healthy mix of discipline and hard work along with fun and play. And then if you pulled the Emperor card, this is kind of telling you to keep that balance by being, you know, a good leader, but also a listener, someone who can have fun and get down on the level with their sort of followers, with the leader here. It's about being a good leader and getting to know the people that you lead. So you could take it that way and start taking in things in your surroundings. If a song pops into your head, tell your audience about that. Let them know that song, let them hear it, and let them get a deeper connection with this reading and learn more and get more from it, because that song could mean so much to them. And then when I say creatively, I mean try and connect things, try and get a story, try and look at what's going on. You know, she's really beholding this flower. Does that mean that on this path she's going to reconnect with nature? This flower is a rose. Is she falling in love with something on this path? So try to tell a story with what you're seeing. This particular magician is using art as her creative form to manifest things. So you can take that into consideration and start developing a story as you look at the cards, and that will guide your reading. Make a story. Don't just try and look at the cards and think about what individual interpretation they are. Try and make a background story as well surrounding that. So those were my kind of tips. Now we're going to get into the traditional meanings of these cards. Okay, so the Fool card is actually connected to the planet Uranus. And in an upright setting, this can be about new beginnings. You know, this person is setting out on a journey, they're ready to start something, and they've got all the essentials they need. Usually they're sporting like a little satchel filled with the essentials, but her satchel is this bag with her dog in it. So this is kind of telling you for this particular deck that all you need is protection on this journey. That's all you need. And that's what you've got, you know, universe protection, because the animal or the dog that is with the person on the Fool card represents spiritual protection and guidance. So you're going to be very guided, and that is all you need, kind of thing. So this is all about new beginnings. It can also be about innocence, because this is the start of the tarot deck. And if you think of the tarot deck as a journey with 22 stages, then the first stage is the beginning. You know, this is when you're young, you're free, you're happy. You're trying to figure things out, and so with that comes a sense of innocence. You've not experienced yet, you've not faced pitfalls, and you don't know how to navigate through them yet, but you will learn along the journey. So this is innocence and beginnings, along with spontaneity, because there's an essence of spontaneity in the sense that you don't know what lies before you in this path. The path runs out here and you don't know what's next, and so it's all about things happening randomly. Things being fun, because there's an element of fun with spontaneity. Otherwise they would have just, you know, described this card as like a random card. But they specifically use the term spontaneity because it's like this is going to be fun surprises along the way. Yeah, there might be pitfalls and challenges, especially with the mountains in the background. But there's also clear skies and the sun, which is success. So lots of good energy with this card. The Fool in reverse is a little bit different. So it's basically all of those things but kind of flipped. So there's an air of naivety connected to that innocence now. So you not really knowing how to navigate things. You kind of assuming people have the best intentions or that things will work out when maybe they won't, kind of thing. So there's a sense of naivety. Also risk-taking, maybe stepping off of the cliff, because usually in a traditional deck, the Fool would be stepping off of a cliff. So it could be that you're taking some risks, and you should be more cautious than you're being, because you're kind of acting right now without thinking about consequences. There's a sense of recklessness as well, you not bringing enough essentials, you don't have everything you have in order to do this journey well. And then a sense of fearlessness as well, because you're just embarking out on this journey and you're not worried about anything. Like, she's so carefree, she doesn't care. So there's also a sense of fearlessness with the Fool in reverse. Some other things to note about the Fool is that it's represented by the number 0. So that can mean infinite possibilities, because the number 0 can represent that. It can also talk about cycles, continuation, and no start or end, so maybe a complete journey, but usually it's unlimited possibilities. Okay, so moving on to the second card in the Major Arcana, which is the Magician, which is represented by the number 1, and it is associated with the planet Mercury. This card with the number 1 is kind of all about the self. It's also about initiation and the start of an idea, which is what the number 1 kind of represents there. So with the Magician, it's very much a creative card, and this has really been represented in this particular deck with, you know, the paintbrushes, the pens, the pencils. This is a very creative card, and it's all about your ability to create and manifest the world and the things that you want. And that is also why we've got these sort of infinity symbols, because it's saying that you can create what you're looking for. You have infinite resources within you. So this card is about creativity and resources primarily. And then usually this card will show you every single suit. So we're seeing stars here, which to me could represent the pentacles, but we're not really seeing all the other bits and bobs. But usually you would also see like the wand, which is represented here with the paintbrush. You would also see a sword, and then you would also see a cup as well. And the reason for that is because this card represents every single suit, because this person has every single resource that they need in order to manifest their dreams. Along with the sort of creative energy of the card, there's also a sense of strength and clarity, because this person has the strength to persevere even though they're starting off with the basics. Like, it's not that you have absolutely every single thing, it's that you've got the basics of those things, and you're able to make an amazing thing out of almost thin air, almost nothing. That's kind of the air of the Magician, you know, pulling the bunny rabbit out of the hat. Where did that come from? How did you create that with so little? And so there is a sense of resilience here, of that strength, of clarity. And that's why when we take the Magician in reverse, here's where it starts to get a little bit manipulative, because it's almost like pulling the wool over someone's eyes, not showing them the truth, kind of putting a glamour up. So in reverse, this card can be about manipulation. It can also be about using your power for evil rather than good, you know, dark power. And then narcissism a little bit as well, like that kind of negative energy can surround this card in reverse. Our third card is the High Priestess. So this card is represented by the number 2. So there very much is an element of balance with this card, well-roundedness, well-adjustedness. But the High Priestess primarily represents intuition, divine truth, you know, sensitivity, because she is connected to the moon. So that is what this card is connected to, which is why we've got the little moon there. As well as the Cancer crab here, because it's also connected to Cancer. But this card is really about connecting with your intuition, trusting in the unknown. It's about divine energy, being emotionally in tune and quite emotionally deep and sensitive, especially because of the Cancer there. When we take the High Priestess in reverse, there is more of a sense of those things but in the shadows. So instead of being really in tune with the unknown, it's now about secrets. And instead of it being about you seeing everything and acting responsibly, it's now about hidden agendas. What are you keeping from people? What are people keeping from you? And what are the ulterior motives here? And it can also be a little bit about harm as well, because there's a sense of trust and safety in the unknown upright, and that can manifest into harm in the reverse. Now we have the Empress here, which is represented by the number 3. And here we've got like a little pomegranate, so it's very much talking about fruitfulness, the fruits of your labor, reaping what you sow. The Empress is a really well-adjusted, well-balanced, lovely card. It's a card about feminine energy. It's also about fertility, which is why we've got the pomegranate, and she is pregnant here as well. Fertility, by the way, doesn't just mean like, you know, pregnancy and things like that. It can also be about the fruitfulness of your labors. The things that you put effort into will reap rewards. This card is also about beauty. There is a heavy essence of being very attractive around this card as well. So for example, if you asked how do people see me and then you pulled out the Empress, people think you're beautiful. That's very much what you can take from this card. There's a nice balance of feminine and masculine energy with this card. While it is primarily used to represent the feminine, there's actually like a 50-50 here, like an androgynous vibe of a really good balance of both. And this card is also about growth, especially because if you can see, she's got like a flower here. She's surrounded by flowers and greenery, and then she's got like the pomegranates, and her dress even has like little leaves on and things. This card is also about growth, about development, about rising up. And this card is also connected to Venus. And if we flip it in reverse and we take a look at the Empress this way, we can see some more negative sides of the Empress. As a well-rounded, well-adjusted, wholesome person, she is multifaceted with lots of different sides to herself, and so naturally with that comes really normal human emotions like selfishness, for example, impatience, being overwhelmed, impatience with growth. The growth isn't happening quick enough. Being selfish because you're used to getting your way and what you want and it's not happening for you. Feeling overwhelmed because you've got so many things on the go and you're not sure, you know, what to prioritize, what to focus on. So it can also be about those really normal doubts as well that humans get. Now we're on to the Emperor. So with the Emperor, he is represented by Aries, which, you know, is why I resonate with this card. I do like this one. And usually the Emperor would be sitting on a throne, and around the Emperor are 4 ram horns to represent that Aries, but the number 4 is also representing stability because this card is attached to the number 4 as well. So a very stable leader. This card is all about leadership, having balance as well. Just like its counterpart, the Empress, there is strong balance here. So although this card is usually used to represent the masculine, it is also, once again, another androgynous card. You know, it's a mix of the two. It's using your power and leadership skills for good and being empathetic and a good listening ear to your people so that you can be the best leader possible. So this card is all about authority and power. Like, look at her stance. This is very much giving authority and power. And then, as I said, stability as well. When we look at the Emperor in reverse, this is a leader in bad energy, in the wrong energy. So think of a leader who is not good, who uses their power for good. Maybe it's a manager that you're thinking of, eh? We've all been there, you know. So this is, of course, like a very tyrannical leader, a chaos leader, an angry leader, someone who doesn't listen to other people's opinions or value them. So not a nice person. Not a nice person at all, when we take the Emperor in reverse. Okay, the Hierophant, number 5. So, I'm not gonna say all the numbers for all of them now, because as you can tell, it just goes in order. You know, 5, 6, 7. But this is number 5. Okay. And this is the Hierophant. It is associated with Taurus, so very down-to-earth energy here. In the upright, it can be about tradition, trust, wisdom. It can be about being an important figurehead as well. It can be about religion as well. So for example, let's say there's someone, you're in like a close-knit community and someone at your church like has taken kind of the lead a little bit. They're not the priest, but they are like maybe an important figurehead who gathers everyone round for prayer, or like they arrange meetups and bring all the food and stuff. This is that type of person. Someone who's really important in the community. And it doesn't even have to be religious as well. It can also be someone like a doctor or a lawyer, but someone very integral to the community. But it's a small community, not like a wider one. And they are very traditional. So this person would likely, you know, go down a traditional path of like marriage, babies, that sort of thing, mortgage. Very traditional type of person. And in reverse, and this is why I really like this card and this energy, because in reverse it goes a little bit rogue, and I always love that. But this is about misconception as well as hypocrisy and blind faith. So this person is questioning their faith. Why do they do the things they do? Do they believe the doctrines they've been told? Why are they religious? Why do they do the things they do? Why are they the type of person they are? Why do they follow tradition? And they start questioning what's around them. They start kind of becoming this critical thinker, questioning that blind faith. Should it really be blind, or should they pay attention to it and see why it is they follow the things they follow? Do they feel a sense of hypocrisy when they look at their religion and then the people that follow it? Do they feel a sense of hypocrisy in their work? You know, maybe it's a doctor who tells people to trust in their doctors and not worry about things, but then they themselves struggle to do that. Maybe they tell their patients to go without the pain meds because that's natural, but then like they themselves would want pain meds. So it's like things like that, questioning that hypocrisy. And they've just kind of fallen out of sync with what they know or what they have been told to do. It can also be like if you've grown up in a household that tells you to vote a certain way, you grow up and you start questioning that and make up your own mind. You might not go against them, or you might, but the point is you've made up your own mind. So this is where you start to take initiative, be a critical thinker, and take back that control. Now we have the Lovers. So the Lovers is represented or associated with Gemini, because of course it's the two, the pairing, mirroring each other. So there's something really interesting about the Lovers card, which I'll kind of get into. But upright, this is very much about romantic love, passion, union. But as you can see, these two people have different agendas for the relationship. This person is feeling a lot of passion, a lot of flame, a lot of attraction. This person is feeling nurtured, nourished, fulfilled, satiated. They're looking for stability. They're looking for passion. And so when you take the Lovers card in reverse, what you're kind of getting is the breakdown of a relationship where you're not aligned in what your future outcome is for that relationship. So this can be about conflict, suffering, obedience, so maybe a little bit of infidelity as well. So maybe falling out of sync because you're not aligned. But also with the obedience, it's like maybe someone has made themselves so small in the relationship that they don't even know who they are anymore, and they struggle to set boundaries and stand up for themselves, and it's no longer a healthy situation. Maybe there's a lot of arguments, that sort of thing. So it can be a really lovely card. It depends what way you get it, but actually this isn't the ultimate love card in this deck, which we'll get into. But if you've watched my channel, you already know which one I think that is. But now we're moving on to the Strength card. The Strength card is associated with Leo, which is why we've got this massive lion tattoo here. Usually it's a person with a lion, but for this deck it's a tattoo. And this card's quite interesting because it kind of talks about the balance of your strength. It's, you know, strength isn't just physical brute strength, you know. It's also about your intelligence and your emotional intelligence, your ability to connect with other species and connect with other people and put your differences aside. So this card really is about having that passion and kindness and consideration, that kind of compassion for other people and animals. It's also about having vitality and courage to stand up for what's right and get involved where you need to. But when you take the Strength card in reverse, it can be about all those things that get in the way of you being courageous and compassionate. So that is things like your pride. It can also be about you feeling weak, because of course this is the Strength card. So in reverse, it can be about feeling that weakness. It can also be about struggle to tame this aggressive side. So there's a air of balance around this card. You need to know when it's time to get aggressive and when it's time to be calm. And so in reverse, it's about struggling with that, struggling to be calm, struggling to know when to say something and when not to. Nice. Now we've got the Chariot here. So The Chariot is actually represented by or associated with Cancer. And upright, this is a very fast card, very speedy. It's about departure, going somewhere, having the discipline and courage to go after what it is you want and getting there very quickly. It's about you achieving your goals and your ambitions. So when you take it in reverse, this card slows right down. It might even halt. So if you're asking, when is this thing going to come into my life? In the upright, the Chariot determines it will be very quick. In the reverse, it's not even moving. And if it is, it's very slow. So, in reverse, this can be about carelessness. You know, you doing things in the wrong way. Arrogance, wanderlust. It can be about all those sort of negative kind of things that could slow a project down. Next up, we have Justice, which is represented by Libra because it's all about balance, this card. This card is like straight in the middle, that harmony, that balance. So of course it's associated with Libra. So upright, this is about fairness and clarity and judgment, you know. So essentially what this is kind of saying is justice will prevail. Even if things haven't worked out for you, the universe will intervene. The universe always has a way, and karma will take its natural course. You will somehow find a way to end up on top in this situation. Everything balances out. If you've been betrayed, the playing field will be leveled out, or something good will happen to you. Or if you did something bad, that bad karma might come back to you, or things are going to get leveled out where that person who you wronged is rewarded in some kind of way. So it's all about everything in balance. You know, there is life and there is death. There is inevitable repayment for what you have taken from the earth. If while you were alive, you absorbed all the nutrients, you took in all the oxygen, you ate all the plants, when you eventually die, the plants are going to reclaim that nutrients from you. So it's like a give and take with this card, essentially. In reverse, it can be about unfairness, things not being just. They're not being justice for you. A sense of guilt maybe, and also punishment. Usually this is about punishment, and this is more about reward. So now we have the Hermit here, which is associated with Virgo. So upright, the Hermit is about wisdom. And it's also about independence and awareness. So the reason for this is because the Hermit kind of takes himself out of social situations. Like, this person has decided they're going to have a night in their pajamas, thinking and wondering about things with their candle, you know, lit. And the candle here is representing wisdom. They're about to unlock some key wisdom here. They're about to unlock something that they didn't know before. And that is going to lead them out of the darkness of their wondering, their thoughts, their questions. So it's not that this person is alone or isolated, it's that they're independent. They've taken themselves away from something in order to reconsider it in a new light and emerge more intelligent and more capable and more experienced to handle this situation. And until they've learned it, they won't leave this sort of hermit mode, this sort of nest. The Hermit in reverse is actually slightly different there, in the sense that this is now about isolation. This person has stayed in hermit mode too long and they're now a little bit scared to go out there. So they're kind of isolating themselves, distancing themselves from people, resigning themselves to this place, rather than now going out and taking the knowledge that they've learned and moving on. They're a little bit lost and the light hasn't quite guided them out yet. Now we have the Wheel of Fortune here, which is actually associated with Jupiter. So the Wheel of Fortune is about like fate and karma and unpredictability, the unpredictableness of life. And that's why we've got all these different weathers going around with the rain, the stars, in the night, the sunlight and the daytime, and then the fire here, the flames. You don't know what you're going to get, but once the wheel starts moving, you don't have control over this anymore. So it's about luck, really. How lucky are you to land on maybe the nice night stars, or the day sunshine, or the nice rain drizzle, but then very unlucky to sort of land here in the fire pit. So it's about luck. It's about things moving for you. Something is starting and finally the wheels are turning and a journey is like beginning for you. You're going on some sort of journey here. And it's unpredictable in the sense that you don't know when it will stop, or where it will stop. So once it starts spinning, it will slow down and down and down, and it will land somewhere. And where are you going to land, you know? So it's kind of about your luck in life as well. So for example, let's say you got a job teaching, and you think that's it, you're going to stay there teaching now, but then you end up meeting another teacher there who talks about this other opportunity to go on an archaeological dig, and you take it up for the weekend and you give it a go, and then someone at the archaeological dig offers you a position, and now the wheel is turning. Things are happening, and you don't know if this is going to be good or bad, if it's going to work out for you or not. All you know is it's now moving and you're on this roller coaster, and you see where it goes. So it's kind of that energy. When it's in reverse, this is you've landed in the fire pit. You've got the negative phase of the Wheel of Fortune. Your luck might be bad or out of control, or your luck has changed. So you could have had bad luck, but because this is in reverse, take it as it resonates. If it's reversed and you usually have bad luck, it means you're going to have good luck. But if you usually have good luck and it's reversed, it probably means you're going to be a little bit, you know, in a state of bad luck, or in a state of lack of control. You know, this wheel is spinning out of control and you don't have any sort of say in it. And now we've got the hanged one, the hanged man, the hanged woman, whichever your card will say. I actually have a little ghost tarot deck. It's called the Cute Ghost Tarot. Yeah, it's called the Cute Ghost Tarot, and it says the hanged one on it. So I prefer that. Connected to Neptune. And it's all about deep insights, change, release. So this person needs to change their perspective or their insight on something in order to see the world upright again. So at the minute they're seeing this situation from the wrong angle because they're upside down. And they kind of need to stay in that place until they figure out how it should look. You know, this person isn't just passive, they're not just dangling there, they're thinking and considering, so that they can change and release this old thought pattern or old belief and be someone new. So when you get the hanged one in reverse, this is where this person is struggling to come to a conclusion and struggling to change their perspective. So they're kind of at a standstill. They're feeling a sense of a lack of control over their situation because they can't change this. They're struggling to change it. And there's also a sense of sacrifice here as well, because they're kind of just sacrificing their time and themselves in not changing for the better. Now we've got the Death card here, which is represented or associated with Scorpio. And the Death card is really, really lovely. It's all about endings and beginnings, letting go, having those new beginnings. So as I said, it's like the life and death thing again. You know, so it's like where a person might die and then go to the earth, they're actually renewing life in that earth. You know, they're because they're creating nutrients for the plants and the trees and the bugs and the critters that are in there. So they're allowing new life to thrive, basically. So this card is about that in a sense. It's kind of like transformation with like the butterfly going into the cocoon to emerge into something new. So something is ending so that something amazing can begin. So it could be like an old job is ending so you can get a new amazing job if you asked a question like that. And then when you get it in reverse, this can be about holding on to the past, feeling stagnation, feeling grief. It can be about not being willing to let go of what you need to let go of in order to progress. It's about being afraid to accept that newness, because in order to accept it, you have to let go of something else, and that can be quite scary. So it's about that fear, it's about that grief, and kind of clinging on to what's old and no longer works for you anymore. Some sort of old belief or way of living. Next up we have Temperance, which is associated with Sagittarius. So this card is just really lovely, well-rounded, completely harmonious. With that rainbow in the background and this beam of light, it is all about being a well-tempered, balanced, harmonious and patient person. So really lovely energy, like nothing affects this person. They're so unbothered and they're so tapped in and in tune and connected with everything around them that they see everyone as one living thing and they act from that space. In reverse, Temperance can be about the opposite of that, so the lack of balance, feeling extreme emotions, feeling fragile rather than stable in the upright. With the Devil card, this is associated with Capricorn, and upright it can be about temptation, seduction, materialism, also being chained to a lie that isn't true as well, or chained to a bad habit. So when it talks about temptation, materialism, you might be tempted to keep up with toxic cycles or toxic ways of being. You might be seduced by like a habit of yours. So say if you're trying to like quit smoking or something, it's like it's kind of calling you back in and you're feeling really like you're struggling to let go of it basically. But when we get it in reverse, this is freedom. This is release from that thing. You're no longer struggling to, you know, quit that addiction to cigarettes. Like, it's about that. And it's also can be about resentment to the thing that has kind of kept you in this space. It can also be about the lack of will here, the lack of personal agency, whereas upright it's like you do have a choice and you can decide to change this for yourself and make a difference, but in reverse it's like that lack of will. Now we have the Tower card. I love this one so much. So for me, the Tower card represents a few things. So it is associated with the planet Mars, and it is about chaos. That's primarily what upright it is about. It's about chaos, a change of life, an awakening, a disruption. But this is a really good bad thing. So yes, it's destruction. Your house is burning down. It's been hit by lightning, sure. But it had to do that because actually you were getting very trapped in that house and you weren't leaving, and it was affecting your ability to live your life. So it had to go in order to let this good thing in, but it is very sad to see this house burning down. I also see this card as eviction because usually there's like a person falling out of the tower card. Not always, but traditionally there is. So I also see this card as like eviction, forced to leave a situation even if you didn't want to. And getting out of your comfort zone as well. Big changes. In reverse, I personally see this as you choosing to leave a situation, having the choice, being in a more stable position rather than this unstable position. But it can also be about collapse. So things no longer working. It can be about restlessness, or it can be about tumultuous times, stormy times. Very similar to the upright. I'd say the only difference is a sense of whether or not you're comfortable with this change. So upright, it's like you weren't ready, you weren't anticipating it, this is very uncomfortable. And reversed, it's like you're comfortable, you're ready, you're stable. But I will say each tower card in every deck is different, and if you have a tower card where someone is falling out of the tower card, it means you have like been very affected by the situation in a big way. But if the person is still in the tower card, it can mean so many things. It can mean you'll eventually need to leave, but for now you're safe. It could mean you're gonna be alright. It could mean that you're still trapped there and there's still that thing to work through. It could mean you want to go back. Like, interpret it intuitively, you know, and creatively based on the design of the card. Ooh, now we've got the Star card. I love this one. So with the Star card, we have a few things. So it is connected to Aquarius. And it's all about having faith in the future, in the unknown, in what you can't see. It's having hope for the future. It's also about fortune. And I also see this card as a wish fulfillment as well, like wishing on a star. This wish is going to come true for you. In reverse, it can be about insecurity about that. Will this wish come true for you? Will the things you want happen? It can be about you feeling a bit discouraged from your path and not having faith in the future. With the Moon card, again, love this card. It is connected to Pisces and it's all about mysteries. What you don't know, what you can't see, which is why she's like whispering, shushing, closing her eyes, because it's about what you can't see. It's a mystery, you know, the dark side of the moon. It's also about the subconscious, so your dreams, the things that are going on in the back of your mind. It can also be about foreboding, like a forewarning of the future. In reverse, it can be about that dark side of the moon, being afraid of it. It can be about insecurities, fears, fear of the dark, fear of the unknown. It can also be about secrets getting out, because I do see this as a bit of a secret card as well. Then we've got the lovely, lovely sun, which of course is connected to, you guessed it, the sun. So upright, this is about pleasure, rebirth, light, success. You know, all the flowers are growing towards the sun is getting visibility, it's getting looked at. So lots of attention, lots of rewards and flattery, and the sun having this bright social sunshine energy, being very social, being very positive, being very kind, people wanting to be around that, people wanting to be around that energy, success. And then when you take the sun in reverse, it can be about arrogance, kind of being egotistical. It can be about carelessness and negativity, and maybe people trying to exploit your goodness as well. Judgment. So with the Judgment card, this is the second from last card now, and this is connected to Pluto, and it's all about liberation, redemption, a bit of awakening as well. But when you take this card in reverse, it can also be about connection to like higher beings as well, with the trumpet and divine messages, receiving divine messages. In reverse, it's about doubts, punishment, destruction, being punished by the universe for something. Not necessarily you, but maybe something you're asking about or someone you're asking about. It can be about destruction as well. And now we have the World card. So this is connected to Saturn. Really lovely card. It's all about arriving there. You're done. You made it. It's time to celebrate. It's about life. It's about spontaneity. You've got the whole world in your hand. You've achieved everything you need to achieve. This is the end of the cycle. You did it. You did the journey, you know. If you have more journeys in the future, fantastic. But for now, pause and celebrate this big win. This is a big accomplishment in your life. If you take it in reverse, it can be about incompletion, emptiness, a lack of closure, something that can't be resolved for some reason. Like, say if someone ghosted you and you can't get a hold of them. Unresolved, you know? So take it like as it resonates and as it connects to what you're asking about. Amazing. So that was the major arcana. We're now going to move on to the minor arcana, but I am going to take a break. So now we are on to the suits, and we're going to start off with the wand cards. So let me take all of those here. So the wands are actually fire signs. I remember when I started out on tarot, I sort of assumed the sword cards would be fire signs because, you know, aggression. But actually it's the wands. So these are associated with Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. And the reason these are associated with fire signs is because they're about taking action. The wand card is about taking that action from your mind, from your creative input, down onto paper, out into reality. So this is about taking initiative. So that starts us off really nicely with the Ace of Wands, which is basically about that. So it is all about courage, desire, positivity, initiation, having that spark to go after something, being courageous enough to do it, being courageous enough to take those risks, being courageous enough to go after your desires and do it in a really positive way. What does the Ace of Wands mean in reverse? The Ace of Wands in reverse can be about missed opportunities, because if the Ace, which is a beginning, is sparking a new opportunity for you, in reverse, this has been missed. It can also be about delays in this thing that you want to start, maybe delay in the start date, and also a bit of miscommunication as well. Okay, so now we have the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is associated with Mars in Aries, and this can be about plans, travel, new ideas, especially with these two wands here. It could be, you could take that to mean two plans that you've got, plan A and plan B, maybe two travel options, maybe two new ideas that are coming to you. But when you take the Two of Wands in reverse, this can be about like indifference. It can be about listlessness, inner conflict, struggling with your ideas to make a decision. Okay, so now we've got the Three of Wands, which is the Sun in Aries. And the Three of Wands is all about happiness, gratitude, kind of the things that you create as well. Like, what do you produce here with these 3 sticks? It's especially got that happiness, gratitude energy with the sun association. But then when you take the 3 of Wands in reverse, this can be about obstacles being in your way, facing delays, feeling frustrated as well. These cards, because they're minor arcana, they're mostly about emotions, to be honest, and how you're feeling. Now we've got the 4 of Wands, which is Venus in Aries, and this can be about like peace, happiness, harmony. Like, look at them having a good old time. You know, they're really enjoying themselves. They're in harmony with each other. They're peaceful. They're happy. So really good, lovely energy with the 4 of Wands. But when you take the 4 of Wands in reverse, this can be about debauchery, foolery, foolishness, delays, you know, struggles, difficulties, being out of harmony, out of balance. Essentially, the reverse of everything is just whatever it was upright, but in reverse. That's one easy way to kind of remember. With the 5 of Wands, this is Saturn in Leo. So this is about strength, competition, conflict, you not seeing eye to eye with somebody else. If you take this in reverse, this can be about bitter competition, like things are now taking a darker turn where it's not just that you're competing so you're on opposing sides, it's that you might really not like this person, you know. Your ambition is fueled by negativity. You just want to win to beat them. There's an untrustworthiness between the 2 of you, and it's unlikely that you are going to end on positive terms. With the 6 of Wands, lovely card. 6s and 9s are like the best, I think, in tarot. But anyway, the 6 of Wands, this is all about victory, success, good news. Like, look, she's telling them of good news. She's won something and they're praising her for it. This is a lovely, lovely card. It's also Jupiter in Leo, by the way. Forgot to mention. And in the reverse, it can be about delays and punishment and excess pride and not getting what you wanted out of a situation, and being quite egotistical as well. 7 of Wands is Mars in Leo, and it's all about having hope for your future victory, which will come to you, and being defensive, being willing to protect the things that matter to you. If there's an important conversation you're having, and for a minute there you're about to back down, but then you're like, no, you know what, this is an important cause to me. I want to talk about climate change or global warming and defend my stance on it, and, you know, encourage people to stop purchasing from fast fashion because that affects the environment as well as people and stuff. Then you're going to do that, and then you're going to come out victorious on the other end. That's kind of the energy of the 7 of Wands. However, in reverse, this is kind of you conceding, you kind of giving up in that conversation. The competition is just too strong and the threat level is high. So you're like, I'm going to just pull back, you know, I'm going to surrender, basically. Now we've got the 8 of Wands. So this is Mercury in Sagittarius. And this can be about travel and movement and communication, especially because of that Sag energy there. And you can remember that based on the movement of the wands across the sky, kind of like shooting stars. So lots of movement, travel, and then good communication as well, because the stars are communicating something to her. And then in reverse, this is kind of about miscommunication, feeling frustrated and uncertain as well. Now we've got the 9 of Wands. So with the 9 of Wands, this is the moon in Sagittarius. This is kind of about recognition and strength, a little bit of like standing out from the rest as well. But then when you take this card in reverse with the 9 of Wands, you're getting that reluctance, closed mindset, that kind of resistance to this victory and this success and recognition. Kind of, you don't like that recognition or that success. You're reluctant to take what you have reaped, you know. Okay, so this is where the little negatives. So we've got the 10 of Wands here, which is Saturn in Sagittarius. So this is about no perspective, feeling burdened, feeling a lack of like accomplishment. Like you do achieve a lot, but at what cost? Because you're overburdening yourself with other people's tasks. This is like if your manager at work was like, oh, I want you to take on these 10 new projects and you're actually going to be a project manager, but it doesn't come with a pay rise, it's just extra work. And you're like, yes, like you're just a bit of a yes man, and that's making you sad. So when you take this card in reverse, this is the result of that. So feeling that pressure, feeling that burnout, feeling that overwhelm, taking on too much. Now we've got the Page of Wands. So he's like the little scatterbrain, ADHD a little bit. So this card is kind of about having a lot of ideas, a lot of creative ideas. You know, he's got all these pots and pans on at one go. It's about being really like ambitious, wanting to grow, wanting to change, wanting to like go an adventure. But then in reverse, it's a little bit tricky because it's kind of like you've got so many things on that you can't actually keep track of what you're doing, and now the pans are overfilling and spilling over and it's too much to keep track of. It can be about being confused about what option to take and delaying to the point that you ruin these options. It can be about miscommunication and conflict as well. Now we have the Knight of Wands, which is Sagittarius and Scorpio together. So this is about like fiery love as well as like self-confidence, feeling motivation. Like here he is like going out finding what he needs. But then in reverse, it can be that fiery energy. So, you know, very argumentative, a lot of anger, a lot of impatience, which is very Scorpio and Sag put together. Now we've got the Queen of Wands here. So that's Aries and Pisces. So the immature with the really mature. So, you know, two extremes going on here. So we've got like pride and femininity and self-confidence themes coming up here. But then in reverse, it's more about aggressiveness, selfishness, insecurity. So it can be the extremes of both sides. Either the really mature, like well-rounded, well-adjusted Pisces energy, who is still very emotionally in tune, and with that, connected to the Aries, which is quite immature, those emotions can spill out in negative ways, in that frustration, that aggression, that selfishness, those insecurities. And now we have the King of Wands. So this is Leo and Cancer together, and this is about security, warmth, strength. Like this person is an unmovable mountain, you know. In reverse, they can be very arrogant, narcissistic, impulsive. You know, it's the dark side of this type of stoic, strong person, but upright, they are very secure and warm and strong. Okay, so now we're on to the swords. So we've got the Ace of Swords here, and the swords are air signs. Because if you think of a sword, it's moving through the air, you know, it's slicing through the air. So that's where we're getting that from. And these can represent thoughts and things like that. Oh shit, wait. I forgot to say what ones represent, but as fire signs, these are actually about like creativity, action, inspiration, that sort of thing. So swords are actually about thoughts and what's going on in your mind, what's in your subconscious, what's in your dreams. So it's that kind of energy. Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. So with the Ace, this card is actually all about reason and like logic. Illuminating an idea to something, illuminating the truth. It's also about having a sharp mind as well. So if we take that into reverse, the Ace of Swords in reverse can be about difficult times, a little bit of confusion, especially if upright it's about having that sharp mind, then this is very much confusion. As well as separation from ideas, separation from reason. Now we've got the Two of Swords here, so this is represented by the Moon in Libra. And it can be about having a difficult time kind of making a decision and coming up with solutions. Like this person has two options and they don't know what to do, which is why they've got the blindfold on. It's like they can't see what path to take. So in reverse, this person can't make a decision. You know, they're torn. They've got a lot of skepticism. They have a very negative outlook on this situation with no clear direction of where to go. Now we've got the Three of Swords, so that is Saturn in Libra, and this can be about heartache, you know, feeling wounded by something, needing to find a way out of something, that desperation to feel liberated, to get away from that heartbreak. In reverse, it can be about painful experiences, feeling insulted, feeling betrayed. It's just this message, but enhanced, heightened, this heightened negative kind of energy of pain and suffering. But then with this Four of Swords, we go back to stability here. So this is Jupiter in Libra. And as we said, Libra is like peace, balance, harmony. So this card, combined with that, represents the need for rest and relaxation and to be patient with something in order to see it through. But in reverse, that patience can become a standstill. It's your difficulty to take action, to move, and it's also about feeling excluded from what it is that you want as well. But mostly it's about standstills. Now we have the Five of Swords, so this is Venus in Aquarius, and this is all about a little bit of sneakiness, a little bit of defeat. You know, this person is sneaking away from people in the hopes that they don't notice. They've just been through something really tumultuous. They're walking towards brighter pastures, so they're walking towards success now, but they've just essentially had an argument with somebody. They've lost this argument and they are taking what little pride or dignity or resources they have and they're sneaking away off into the night. So it's a little bit about that deceit. And then in reverse, it's about having a lot of hatred, a power struggle, feeling ambushed, maybe forced out as well. But feeling betrayed for sure. With the Six of Swords, this is Mercury in Aquarius, and this is about new beginnings, change, and new love. So if in that last card, this person is stealing away off into the night towards success, this is them finding that success. They're moving on, they're climbing the mountain, they're looking for new adventures and new love, a new group and community to join. In reverse, this is about farewells, saying goodbye, feeling worried and fearful of the future. And now we've got the Seven of Swords. So again, a little sneaky energy, but this is Moon in Aquarius. And this is about being very intelligent, having a keen mind, being very aware of your surroundings, but also being insecure. So it's kind of like if you're like healthily afraid of, you know, going to, I don't know, let's say you had like a bunch of bullies when you were in school, and now that you're adults, they kind of invite you to something and you're not sure about whether or not you should go. That fear and that resistance is coming from an intelligent place. You know, you have learned your lessons and you're like, this is not a trustworthy space. But at the same time, a little bit of it is also like insecurity about losing what you have gained, and you are prepared to arm yourself when it comes to, like, not physically, but like arm yourself in terms of like prepare yourself for what's in store if things do go wrong, like preparing yourself for like that rejection or a verbal argument, that kind of thing. In reverse, it can be about hatred as well as maliciousness and also rethinking something. With the Eight of Swords, this is Jupiter in Gemini, and it's about overthinking. This person's being too self-critical to the point that they've kind of trapped themselves, and if they just saw themselves differently, they would see how easy this situation is to get out of, to stop being chained to this lie that they've told themselves, to stop being so self-critical, to stop self-entrapping and preventing yourself from getting, you know, good things coming to you. In reverse, it's about inhibitions, hidden personality, like hidden parts of yourself, and a lack of space, feeling trapped, you know. So Nine of Swords here is not great. So this one is Mars in Gemini. And this can be about stress, anxiety, helplessness, sleepless nights, being very worried, very anxious. This is a card all about anxiety. And in reverse, it's about feeling despair, but also having hope for the future and fearing what you could lose as well. This is like the bad boy energy of the cards. So this is the Ten of Swords, Sun in Gemini. It's about sudden endings, failure, backstabbing. And in reverse, it's about inevitable ends, you know, intellectual tyranny, a bit of like abrupt conclusions. So I would say, if you're asking about a person, this is like ghosting, blocking, chaos, arguments, drama. That's the way I would see it if you're asking about a person. With the Page of Swords, this is about having a clear mind, being ready for new experiences and new adventures, like looking up to the sky, taking in ideas, putting them down on paper and actioning these. So in reverse, this is about discord, conflict, tactlessness. Then we've got the Knight of Swords here, and this is Aquarius and Taurus, and it can be about honesty, opposition, conflict, being truthful to who you are, being very obvious and upfront with that. But in reverse, it can be about malice, cynicism, ridicule, not very connective, very combative. Then we have the Queen of Swords, so Libra and Virgo. So it's a very confident card. This person is willing to learn. They're all about equality, this person. But then in reverse, again, similar to the Knight, is quite cynical, There's a lot of distance. There's also a lot of sharp-tonguedness, so lots of conflict and lots of hurtful words to share as well. With the King of Swords here, this is Gemini in Capricorn, and this is about intelligence, having a clever mind, being a good problem solver, but in reverse it can be like sneakiness, irony, that cynicism again. Lots of cynicism for like the quartz in this particular suit. So cups are water signs, and these are all about emotions. These signs, this suit is all about emotions, depth, that sort of thing. So they're represented by Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. And to start off with the Ace card, this is love, but usually this is taken as like self-love or platonic love, because it's the first card, the Ace, which is number 1, not 2. So we usually don't take this as like a partnership card. But it can be about opportunities, new opportunities in love, the potential to have a great love. It can also be about joy. And equally in reverse, this can be about missed opportunities, blocked creativity, and very emotional loss. This is the ultimate love card in tarot. If you were looking for like a romantic love card in your readings, this is the one. So the Two of Cups is romantic love through and through usually, and upright or reversed, it doesn't matter, it is good. So the Two of Cups is about love. It can also be about friendship and connections, and it's Venus in Cancer as well. In reverse, it can be about like tensions, imbalance, trust issues, but it's not backed up by anything real and tangible, so it's usually just those sort of like insecurities you get in relationships. But I take this as a good one through and through every time. And then we've got the Three of Cups. So we love this energy. This is Mercury in Cancer. And happiness, gratitude, reaping what you sow, what you put into things is what you get out. So if you're putting a lot of love in, you'll get a lot of love out. And in reverse, it can be about gossip, feeling distanced, overindulgence, that sort of thing. The Four of Cups is interesting. So this is Moon in Cancer. And this can be about hitting a plateau, like you were going so steadily, successfully up top, and now you're just remaining there, and it's not necessarily going up or down, you're just kind of stuck in that stasis. So you're feeling a little bit bored and a bit disconnected from life and enjoyment. But then in reverse, this can be about feeling bitter, very angry, feeling a lot of apathy as well towards your situation. Basically taking these 3 upright filled cups for granted and ignoring the gifts you're being given as well that people are trying to give to you because you're feeling unfulfilled. The Five of Cups, again, all the fives are very bad in tarot, but with the Five of Cups, this is Mars in Scorpio. And it's all about insight, knowledge, sadness, you feeling like you have nothing when actually you've got these 2 cups sitting right here, but you're so caught up in your feelings that you don't see them. So in reverse, this is about acceptance, finding peace, finally separating from this loss and moving on. So a really nice reverse meaning for once. So the Six of Cups, love this one. This is Sun in Scorpio, and it's about romance, love, nostalgia, looking back on the past, seeing a future with your person, seeing them connecting with your family. In reverse, it can be about independence, leaving, moving forward, leaving these connections in the past. So lovely energies either way. And I love the Seven of Cups. So this is Venus in Scorpio, and it's all about warnings, hope and choices as well. So warnings of being disillusioned, warnings of leaving your creative ideas as ideas and never actually actioning them. That's the warning here. And it's encouraging you to feel hope for the future and to recognize that you have a lot of choices available to you, so start investing in those. In reverse, it can be about disappointment because you never actioned these ideas. It can also be about feeling deceived because these can be illusions as well. They're up in the clouds. So maybe you're deceived by what you were being offered by somebody or what you thought you could get out of a situation and having like false expectations. So maybe it was like you were offered a job that was like, oh, it's 30 to 70k, and then actually they offered you 25 and you're like, oh, I thought it was 30 to 70, and they're like, yeah, for like experienced people, whatever. and then you're feeling disillusioned kind of thing because you just put all this effort in, that sort of thing. So it can be things like that. I love the Eight of Cups. This is like knowing your worth, setting boundaries, standing up for yourself. Okay, I love this one. So with the Eight of Cups, this is Saturn in Pisces, and it's about walking towards your new future and walking away from what doesn't serve you anymore. If you were disillusioned into thinking you were going to get 8 cups, but you were actually given like 7 and you're missing one, you don't need to put up with that. Even if people call you ungrateful because you've got so much that most people don't have, like, what's your problem? It's still not what you want. It's not good enough, and you wanted that extra cup, so walk away and find that extra cup, or find that situation that has all the cups that you're looking for. So that's what this card is about. And then if you take it in reverse, it can be about the fear of loss, poor timing, uncertain futures, being too worried to walk away from this because you're worried about what the future may hold. But it's also like the timing wasn't right with this situation, or you were afraid to lose it so you walked away, or you were afraid to lose it so you stayed. That kind of thing. Love the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups is Jupiter in Pisces. It's about dreams, enjoyment, happiness, indulging in all these amazing things, notifications, successes, dreams, changes, money, love, like all these lovely things. But when you take this card in reverse, it can be about sluggishness, you not really doing what you want to do, and you're kind of relaxing a little too much. It can also be about exaggeration and a lack of joy as well. 10 of Cups is another ultimate love card going on here. So this is Mars in Pisces. It's about love, harmony and satisfaction. You feeling satisfied in your connection with somebody and feeling harmonious with them. You see eye to eye on things. It's just working out perfectly. But in reverse, this is you kind of feeling neglected. Again, that poor timing coming up. Feeling like your dreams and hopes were shattered by the reality of this situation. The Page of Cups is about opportunity, intuition and affection as well. And in reverse, it can be about relationship problems, oversensitivity, misunderstandings. The Knight of Cups is Scorpio and Aquarius together, and this is a romance card. It's about infatuation. It's also about well-being, prioritizing that, because this is a very healthy person. But in reverse, this is about empty promises, moodiness, fantasies, being disillusioned by somebody. Oh, the Queen of Cups. I always feel bad for the Queen of Cups, but she is Cancer and Gemini together, and she's all about empathy and sacrifice and patience. But in reverse, she's a very insecure person, and that can lead to a lot of dark choices and a lot of mysticism as well. And now we've got the King of Cups, so Pisces and Libra. And this is intense love, psychic energy, feeling really balanced. It can also be about coldness in reverse. It can be about warnings. It can also be about mockery as well, because this person is having to stand strong against harsh waters, which means you could face a lot of mockery or judgment, and you're going to have to stand strong to it if it comes up in reverse. And now we're on to coins, and this is the Earth signs suit. So of course, like, money comes from trees, and that's material. It's the material world, and by material I mean physical, but there is like a double entendre here of material also meaning like material wealth, like, because we talk about money as like material things, materialistic, you buying things and having your house full of shit, like, so it's a double meaning there. But surprisingly, it's actually about being down to earth and very grounded with the coins and having stability. So that's what it means by material. So with these pentacles as earth signs, they represent Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. And starting off with the Ace card, this is a lovely card. It's about happiness and joy as well as new beginnings. So I always love this one. But in reverse, it can be about bad choices, missed opportunities and financial problems. So with the Two of Coins, this is Jupiter in Capricorn, and it can be about adaptability, but especially with ease. Adaptability specifically to priorities. So she's juggling 2 different financial priorities here, but she's doing it happily and with ease, and she's even playing with the dog at the same time. Like, you're handling everything really well. You're busy, but in a good way, like busy social life, busy work life, all those sorts of things. But then when you see the Two of Coins in reverse, this can be about a loss of balance, you know, dropping the ball on these things, feeling a bit too carefree and disorganized as well. Three of Coins, love this one. It's Mars in Capricorn, and it's about the completion of something using teamwork and garnering good results. But in reverse, it can be about unfinished business, feeling frustrated at the process, not being in harmony with these people, and then there being delays. With the Four of Coins, this is the Sun in Capricorn, but it can be about your sense of security, needing to hog all your resources, feeling limited and wanting to conserve what you have. But then in reverse, it's about control, standing still, and greed, and how your greed and sense of control in this situation is going to prevent you from moving, and doubling this. Five of Coins is like being shut out from something. So this is Mercury in Taurus, and it's about poverty, the fear of loss, and it's also about isolation as well, being locked out of this financial abundance here. In reverse, this is recovery from that hardship. It does also still denote hardship and crisis, but there is recovery. Love the Six of Coins. It's about generosity. So this is the Moon in Taurus. It's about tolerance of other people and other ways of experiencing life and other generations. It's also about that generosity that I mentioned, and also that helpfulness of helping somebody who needs it. In reverse, it can be about being stingy, a little stinginess. It can be about having strings attached to your generosity, which is not a good thing. And then it can also be about domination, control, you know, using that money to influence people negatively. And then we have the Seven of Coins with Saturn in Taurus. So this is about joy, getting positive results, being patient, and just loving the process. But in reverse, you're getting that impatience, that doubt, that disillusion that the future isn't going to reap what you hope it will. Then we've got the Eight of Coins here with the Sun in Virgo. So this is about learning and hard work as well as beginning something, but lots of hard work and effort being put in here. In reverse, it can be a little bit like you're inexperienced, and for that reason you're a little bit ignorant to the process, and then you're feeling overworked because you're not getting the results you would get if you had been like more in the know about things and more experienced. The Nine of Coins is Venus in Virgo, and this is about success, great love, as well as rewards, so reaping rewards from what she's doing. In reverse, it can be about being materialistic, overspending, and having a lot of financial insecurity. So the Ten of Coins is great. It's Mercury in Virgo, and it's about being carefree, harmonious, happy in love. So we love that for the Ten of Coins. But in reverse, it's unfortunately like that lack of stability, having money problems, having miscommunication. The Page of Coins is a great energy. So this is about being ambitious, having a lot of desire and diligence to go after what you want. Like, he has just checked out all these books from the library because he is ready to go after what he wants. But in reverse, it's about laziness, not going and getting those books. It can be about greed and missed opportunity as well. With the Knight of Coins, this can be about stability, perseverance, security, keeping on with what you're doing to build up your security and your stability and your stance in life, your financial standing in life. And it is Taurus and Leo. But in reverse, it can be about stupidity, exaggeration, and potential dishonesty as well. Exaggerating your skills, exaggerating what you're going to get out of the situation. With the Queen of Coins, this is Capricorn and Sagittarius, and this is like a very feminine energy. It's very sensual. There's a lot to do with fertility, like reaping what you sow with what you put into things. But in reverse, it can be about indifference, disappointments, financial problems. And then with the King of Coins, we've got Virgo and Aries, and this is about hard work and the will to succeed and abundance. And then in reverse, it's like indulgence, excess, greed. So just to reiterate what I sort of said, so when it comes to the coin cards, this is of course the earth, but it is also about the body, the home, money, career, those sorts of things. With the cup cards, this is water, as well as emotions, intuition, creativity, the subconscious mind, and relationships as well. With the sword cards here, this can be about air, power, logic, your mind, your thoughts, and your intellect. And then with the wand cards, this is the fire. So this is about action, energy, motion, and passion and inspiration as well. Also, something else to note that I've kind of learned over time is that wand cards represent days if you're asking about time. Sword cards represent weeks. Cup cards represent months. And coin cards represent years. The other thing I want to talk about when it comes to the tarot is what the quartz mean as well as the numbers. So we have the ace here. So aces are all about new beginnings, potentiality, opportunities, starting something, initiation. It can also be about the self, number one, you know. And then we have two. So of course twos are about balance, harmony, partnerships, duality, choice. Whatever the number two means to you is probably what the number two means. So we've got the number 3 here. So this is usually about teamwork, celebration, community and expansion as well, because we're building up from that too. 4s can usually be about stability and structure, because it's like 4 pillars, you know. So stability and structure, you know, like a table has 4 legs, a chair has 4 legs. It's that stability to hold you up. It can be about foundations and order as well. 5s are interesting because they can be about instability as well as change and obstacles and disagreements. With the number 6, I love these ones. So these are about harmony, peace, cooperation and equality. The 7 are usually, there's a few different things here. So it can be about opposition, obstacles, conflict, challenges, those sorts of things. But that doesn't have to be a negative thing, because those obstacles could be time. So it's like you're enjoying the whole process, but you just, you know, you have to be patient. So it's not as bad as it sounds. With the number 8, this can be about you gaining success and rewards, and also you becoming a master at something, you developing your skills. The number 9 is usually about being fulfilled, attaining something, tenacity as well, usually a lot of success. And then with the 10s, these are about completion, because it's the end of the numbers now. So it's the end of the cycle, it's renewal and it's accomplishment as well. And that's when we sort of head into the quartz. So when you have a page, literally think of this as a page. You know, you're turning a new page, there's a new path, you're turning a new leaf, there's a new chapter. It can also be about messages, because what would be written on paper, you know, a letter, a message. You learning something, you communicating something. Think of like a scroll, how you would unravel it to deliver information. So this is about you knowing what you want, but not necessarily how to do it yet. And then we get into the knights. Knights usually, even though they all have their own, every suit has its own sort of element, a sword comes with a knight. And so there's always this sense of action. There's always a sense of movement, of trips, of proactively pursuing something. And it's also about achieving goals. So this is when it's the time to get things going. With the queens, these are about being patient, being powerful, having the potential to achieve a lot, as well as giving a lot of advice and being very nurturing. So like sort of seeking help when needed, but also giving help and being like a very experienced person. Kings are usually about knowledge and authority and power, as well as leadership. So knowing what it takes to do a job and then doing it and believing in yourself as well. Now, I don't know if anyone would be interested in this, but I did also find a resource online. I don't remember it, but I will try and find the original person who did this, and I will put their info in the description box. But basically I was like scrolling around on Pinterest and I found this resource that was like what each individual tarot card means in terms of time, and I jotted that down in my journal. So I'm going to tell you that, but these aren't my notes. This is just what I've taken and found and used as my own resource for readings and stuff. So firstly, the Fool. This is something happening unexpectedly. The Magician can be about something happening quickly. The High Priestess is about secrets or the unknown. The Empress is saying when components align. So sort of like if you've ever seen one of my prediction tarot readings, whenever I say the weather permits it, this is this card. So long as everything is aligned and the weather permits it, then yes. Now we're getting into dates. Okay, so the Emperor is March 21st to April 20th. And then when we move on to the Hierophant, this is April 21st to May 21st. This is the Lovers, so this is May 22nd to June 21st. The Strength card is July 23rd to August 23rd. The Chariot is June 22nd to July 22nd. The Justice card is September 23rd to October 23rd. The Hermit is August 24th to September 22nd. The Wheel of Fortune it's a surprise, you don't get to know. The Hanged Woman, or the Hanged Man, or the Hanged One, is patience, delays, and waiting. The Death card is October 24th to November 22nd, although I would say that's like never, but okay. Temperance is November 23rd to December 21st. The Devil card is December 22nd to January 20th. The Tower card is Abruptly. The Star card is January 21st to February 18th. The Moon card is February 19th to March 20th. The Sun card is Daytime and Summers. Judgment can mean a few things, so it can mean quickly, also slowly, but either way it's permanent. The World card is slow but successful. So now we are on to Wands. So this is spring season, so all the wands represent the spring. And for the Ace card, we actually don't have anything. I'd just say springtime. For all the Ace cards, we don't have anything. But for card number 2, we have March 21st to 30th. For the 3 of Wands, we have April 31st to the 20th. For the 4 of Wands, we have April 11th to 20th. For the 5 of Wands, we have July 22nd to August 1st. For the 6 of Wands, we have August 2nd to August 11th. For the 7 of Wands, we have August 12th to August 22nd. For the 8 of Wands, we have November 23rd to December 2nd. For the 9 of Wands, we have December 3rd to 12th. And for the 10 of Wands, we have December 13th to 21st. For the Page of Wands, we have June 21st to September 22nd. For the Knight of Wands, we have November 13th to December 12th. For the Queen of Wands, we have March 11th to April 10th. And for the King of Wands, we have July 12th to August 11th. For Cups, these are summer seasons. So for Ace, again, nothing, but just telling you it's summer seasons. For the 2 of Cups, we have June 21st and July 1st. For the 3 of Cups, we have July 2nd to 11th. For the 4 of Cups, we have July 12th to 21st. For the 5 of Cups, we have October 23rd to November 1st. For the 6 of Cups, we have November 2nd to 12th. For the 7 of Cups, we have November 13th to the 22nd. For the 8 of Cups, we have February 19th to 29th. For the 9 of Cups, we have March 1st to 10th. And for the 10 of Cups, we have March 11th to 20th. For the Page of Cups, we have September 23rd to December 21st. For the Knight of Cups, we have February 9th to March 10th. For the Queen of Cups, we have June 11th to July 11th. For the King of Cups, we have October 13th to November 12th. Now we're moving on to Swords, so this represents fall season. And the 2 of Swords is September 23rd to October 2nd. The 3 of Swords is October 3rd to October 12th. The 4 of Swords is October 13th to October 22nd. The 5 of Swords is January 20th to 29th. The 6 of Swords is January 30th to February 8th. The 7 of Swords is February 9th to 18th. The 8 of Swords is May 21st to 31st. The 9 of Swords is June 1st to 10th. And the 10 of Swords is June 11th to 20th. Then we have the Page of Swords, which is December 22nd to March 20th. Then we have the Knight of Swords, which is May 11th to June 10th. Then we have the Queen of Swords, which is September 12th to October 12th. And then we have the King of Swords, which is January 10th to February 8th. So now we have winter seasons with the coins, and for the 2 of coins we have December 22nd to 30th. For the 3 of coins we have December 31st to January 9th. For the 4 of coins we have January 10th to 19th. For the 5 of coins we have April 21st to 30th. For the 6 of coins we have May 1st to 10th. For the 7 of coins, we have May 11th to 20th. For the 8 of coins, we have August 23rd to September 1st. For the 9 of coins, we have September 2nd to 11th. For the 10 of coins, we have September 12th to the 22nd. For the Page of coins, we have March 21st to June 20th. For the Knight of coins, we have August 12th to September 11th. For the Queen of coins, we have December 13th to January 9th. And for the King of coins, we have April 11th to May 10th. So those are all the dates. Some other important things to note about the upright versus the reversed is that with the upright, yes, of course you can take the traditional meanings of reversed, upright and reversed. But something else you can note is that upright cards usually represent people, energies, situations, and things that are happening around you. This isn't necessarily about you. It can represent the external world, anything influencing your life, energies, people. It's less about you, about your internal world. Whereas with the reverse cards, these are about things you are missing in your personal life. Maybe you're missing some of the energies of the upright meaning of the card. It can represent the opposite of the upright meaning or enhance the upright meaning, but it can also be about your internal world, what's going on the inside. So yeah guys, so that was what all of the cards mean. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't. Share your thoughts, you know. And also, if you're ever like getting a reading from me and you want to ask yourself, hey, what does each card mean date-wise? You can kind of make a note of all the cards that I bring up in a reading and come back to this one and check to see what those cards mean in terms of dates. If you ever, you know, maybe I'm doing a reading and you get the World card and you want to know specifically what date this one is about because you felt inspired and got the vibe that it had some sort of significance to your reading, then you can come over here and check out what that is and then figure that out and then, you know, enhance your reading that way if you'd like. But yeah, that's just for anyone who wanted to learn tarot. I might do a quicker series on like TikTok or YouTube, although I haven't started TikTok yet, but I might do like a series, like 1 minute per card. I also did want to go into the symbols, but I might not do that today. I might save that for another video just because the symbols are like very intense and very, very long. This video would be like 5 hours long if I got into the symbols. So yeah, if you want to know more about the symbols and the associations of the cards, then I can get into those as well, like houses, planets, those sorts of things. And yeah, please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, comment, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I'll see you guys next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another tarot reading or tarot related video on Tìandtarot. Bye!